Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. That's not it. I'm going to move things around, try to get folks out of here that are going to be here for the whole night. So I'm going to start with leaflet donations.
Yes, absolutely, and I'll call upon Principal Beal, Assistant Principal Jackson, and we have Steve Dion, our president of the Marshfield Education Association, who really was instrumental in making that happen. So,
Just before we get going, it's been a while since I've done this.
yeah.
Public meeting.
Oh, the public comment.
No, I'm sorry.
Sorry, I'm like a machine. You threw me off, and then I started doing
I have to
my
open
introductions.
Open meeting law. So, under open meeting law, I'm informing the public that this meeting being videotaped by Marshfield Community Media. If anyone in the audience is taping this meeting, either audio or video, please inform us of such at this time. Okay, now we'll keep the video.
Yes, I was introducing, I'll have Principal McNeil from Daniel Webster, Assistant Principal Jackson, if you're planning on coming out. And I mentioned Steve Dion, who is the president of the Marshfield Education Association. We talked about an amazing program that really was one of the highlights of the year so far, where we were able to bring the Boston Bruins to Daniel Webster. And there's a great donation that's associated with it. But I want to publicly thank Mr. Dion and everyone, the Boston Bruins. I know that Principal McGill will do the same, but it was fantastic. Such a great cultural moment for Marshfield Public Schools, for Daniel Webster, and what a great program and promotion of anti-bullying, and it yielded a fantastic donation to Daniel Webster School. So I'll let Principal Neal take it over.
Certainly. Yes, I want to publicly thank Steve Dion and I started this discussion last spring, and he said, have you ever heard of this partnership with the Bruins Foundation and Blue Cross Blue Shield? You know, we were talking about an MEF grant I wrote last year. And so I submitted a grant application for the BFIT Association to bring a program to Danny Webster. Again, we had partnered through Blue Cross Blue Shield, National Grid. It also partners with our community members. So we had Marshfield Fire in as part of our community to talk about bullying. Just an overall wonderful experience. It goes along with our school improvement plan. We have a goal which is centered around equity, belonging, and wellness. So we are just thrilled. It was a highlight of our year, definitely just really inspiring. So there's Marshall Fire up there presenting. We had a staff versus students shootout, and before the activity, before the presentation, they asked if I knew a staff member who would come up and break the tie between the students and the staff members that were selected ahead of time. And I said, sure, I know just the person. So I asked CJ Patoda, our PE teacher, and here he is. He said, I'll do it under one condition, I have to bring a student along. So here he is with our Charlie, or Daniel Webster. I know, you can turn it up just a bit.
Turn up the volume sometimes.
The crowd is cheering.
Cheering, chanting,
Top ball.
Charlie.
The Bear was a pretty good goaltender too. So.
Yes. What a wonderful moment. The entire cafeteria erupted and cheered. So after this, I sent a couple of videos. Someone from the foundation contacted me and said, do you have that video of Charlie and Mr. P on the shootout? And I said, yeah, sure. They said the Bruins Foundation wants to use it on their page, just to promote this program, and just what a wonderful display of community and just everyone cheering on and supporting each other. So it's posted on the Bruins Foundation website. And then Dr. Martin actually has something really exciting to share as well.
Is this working?
Yeah, just push that. Yeah.
There, okay. So I don't know if you know George Kiros. He is an author and a speaker around educational leadership, and he focuses a lot on culture in buildings, culture in districts. Amy McAlpine and I both took courses with him, and he's just amazing. He's one of my top role models. So he had a blog post about building community, and so I shared a link with him, and he has asked to also use the video of one of his future presentations. So Principal McNeil reached out to the parents and CJ to make sure that it was okay with them. So, and it is.
Yes.
That will also be another place where Charlie's going to be famous, and so
Yes.
is CJ. So
She already is. Charlie is a famous girl in our hearts. So I didn't bring the big check with me tonight. I should have. I was carrying it around in Happy Gilmore for a little while. But, you know, we did get, part of this assembly was a $10,000 grant to be used towards health and wellness. So I've already tapped into CJ. He's already starting to put a list together for some adaptive PE equipment, and also going along with our school improvement plan, which is really focused on literacy and reading. Our reading specialist, Marilyn McBride, is working with her team to create a list of books that we can add to our library, all about health and wellness. So we're sort of tackling it on both ends, physically but also mentally. Again, health and wellness. And just again, I just want to thank you, Steve, and Marshfield Fire, and the BFIT program. So thank you, everybody. And Mrs. Jackson for being here as well.
And there were a couple of professional Bruins who played,
Yes.
Bob Sweeney and Andrew Raycroft,
Yes.
Yes.
Razor.
Yes.
Yes, Razor was there. I learned a lot about Razor. Yes.
It was nice, and it was a wonderful program the Bruins sponsored too, so thank you to them.
Yeah, it's a wonderful program. I mean, it's amazing, you know, the impression you left on Charlie, right? So, yeah, it's unbelievable. Does anybody have any comments, questions?
I stopped by for a few minutes. It was electric in there. Yeah, it was wonderful. It was like the energy was awesome. It really just felt community. It was great.
And the Bruins Blue Cross and National Grid do, I don't know if I need that. We do about 20 of these a year, and we come out of each one of them. Each community is different, each school is different, and the energy that Daniel Webster community brought to this event made it an amazing one. We were, as we walked out of there, we were all calling each other on the phone like, can you believe that school was that loud? And we judged like the school on how many whistles go off, because Whitey, the guy who runs the John Whitesides, has a whistle. When the kids get riley, he blows the whistle. Sometimes there's 60 whistles throughout an event. There was a couple, that was about it, but because the kids he had to get this on track because there was so much energy in the room. But that was awesome. Thank you for letting us be a part of the day. It was great. Can't say enough about it. Thank you guys for having us here tonight. We acknowledge the accomplishment.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And so we have a vote for the check, I think,
Yes.
for the really wonderful donation. Maybe explain a little bit about what the gift is going towards.
Yes, so part of the funds will be, Bruins are sending us new playground equipment to be used for our staff and students from Franklin. It's a donation from Franklin Sports. So we're awaiting those packages. I'm not really sure what is coming yet, but I'm really excited. I heard it's a big package. And then we'll have around $7,000 left after that, and we are planning to use it for some adaptive PE equipment and some health and wellness books for our library to support our school improvement plan.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it.
It's in there, right? Florida?
It's the first thing in the new business.
Where is it?
The BFIT donation.
Yeah, the first item under new business.
Oh, on the agenda. Yeah.
Oh, it's on, just right on the agenda, yeah. It's the amount that we have to approve.
Oh, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
10,000.
Do we have it? 10,000?
10,000.
10,000,
Okay.
that's what I was searching for, thank you.
So, yeah, do I have a motion to accept the $10,000 donation from BFIT?
So moved.
So move second. Okay, second by Mrs. Doherty. All those in favor? All those opposed, abstained, 300.
Nice work, and thank you for everything you brought to Daniel Webster. Wonderful.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a nice evening.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank
Good
you.
evening.
Yeah, student, we could do student advisory. Student representative.
You want to do a report? Okay.
Who's a student representative report, and then there's,
Okay.
Mrs. Vitez is here for a trip.
Yeah. All right, we'll do the student representative report next. She gave me dirty look.
It's kind of, welcome, Kathy.
So the first thing that's been happening at MHS since the break is, before the break actually, we had a caroling around the building. So the MHS Marshfield kind of went around the building and we did some carols. I was part of that group, it was a lot of fun, we went to the office. And so you can see it on Setner's Instagram, Principal Setner's Instagram page. It was a lot of fun. The next thing that happened is lots of other sports are having their senior nights, and a specific highlight that I want to mention is the girls hockey with Sarah McIntyre and Patrick, which is an absolutely wild feat, especially on senior night. That hasn't happened for a while. The student council also had their teacher appreciation events recently, and they had coffee, food, baked goods, all of that kind of stuff for the teachers as a way to show our appreciation for what they did after Teacher Appreciation Week. Another thing that happened recently was Fall CMASC, or SEMASC, which is a student council leadership conference that we meet with our district, so Southeast and then Massachusetts Association of Student Councils. And we also kind of met to discuss student council events in our specific schools. Furthermore, DECA had just recently happened, the DECA district event, and we had 59 state qualifiers, which is a crazy high number for the amount of events that have been offered. We have 22 finalists and 35 gold, silver, or bronze medals were given. Alongside that, mock trial had their first win, and they need 2 wins to go to states. They need to win both of their trials.
They beat Hull, they go against Hull, is that right?
Yeah, we
Yes,
did.
yes.
Or I'm actually part of that team.
Oh, nice. Congratulations.
Yes. And the score was 99-74, so it was a pretty sweeping win. And we just need to win the next trial to move on to the state tournament, where we would then go to the Boston courthouse to perform in front of our judges.
That's great.
Some upcoming events are Project Positivity. So we have a spirit week that's dedicated to uplifting students and kind of fostering a positive and optimistic environment in our schools. So we have things like Self-Care Day, where people wear like pajamas, everybody wears pajama day. And we have Be Kind for Mary Day. And we also plaster positive sticky notes all over the walls. We have a big poster with positive quotes on it. And they have like all the kids' names on them. Also in the future, there's an MISC bocce tournament, which our United team isn't going to participate in. However, we will be there to support all of the other unified bocce teams. And for the last thing, term 2 is almost over. So new classes, new semester. That's it.
Wonderful.
Highlight, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but I saw that you're up for something at the MASC conference.
Yes,
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I'm running for MASC president. The role that there's 3 executive board positions that are up for grabs at the MASC conference and the MASC board. There's president, vice president, secretary, and these 2 kind of work together to plan all of the MASC events throughout the state, along with all the conferences. I'm going to be
All right, well, we are behind you, we'll be rooting for you, manifesting this for you.
Thank you.
Good for you.
And about MASC, I think we have.
Well, best of luck with your running for president.
Thank you.
Yes. And congrats for just running for it. That's
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Thank you.
You're free to go.
Thank you.
Thanks
Certainly
very
got
much.
it. And good luck in the continued mock trial.
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
So much.
So we'll do the, next we'll do the MASC state conference.
Welcome back, Adam.
So we are looking for approval to attend our annual state conference in Hyannis. This is the Massachusetts Association of Student Councils. It's March 4th through 6th. This is a conference that we've been attending for probably 25 plus years. We're recognized as a Gold Council of Excellence across the state. And at this conference, students are really able to attend leadership conferences or leadership workshops to develop their skills. They listen to some of the best motivational speakers from the country. We get them from the National Association. They also run workshops, run for state positions, and really a lot of it is about networking with other students. So really finding ideas about what works in other schools, how to make Marshfield High School and the whole community a more having a great school culture. Kylie's running for MSC state president, which is very exciting. We also are involved in a polar plunge for Special Olympics, so all of the delegates from the conference go down to a beach, down the Cape, and they all run into the cold water, and they fundraise money. So yeah, really, the conference is Wednesday through Friday. Wednesday ends up being an early day, so you don't miss as much of their classes on Wednesday, but it's a full day Thursday and Friday. So, there are 12 students that go, and then me as the advisor. The students pay $375 to go to the conference, and then the student council covers the cost for the bus, which is additional. If a student is unable to pay, we can work out scholarships from our fundraising through student council throughout the year. So, this is a great trip, something that I went on all 4 years of high school, and is one of the reasons why I'm a teacher and also so involved.
So, I have a quick question. I was looking over the numbers here. So it's only $375 for the student. The fundraising covers the rest of the trip,
Yep.
rooms, all of this.
Yep.
Okay. And it's 12-to-1 ratio. Is that okay?
Yes. I've had, in past years, I've had up to 20, and it's just been one advisor. But we're down a little bit on numbers.
Okay.
So.
Any questions, comments?
Do we have a banner with us to save them that one?
You could actually, I mean, if you wanted to try it. That's the only, but it is also 3 days too, so I don't know how long you can have that.
Okay, that makes sense.
We also have here.
Oh, look at
ones.
Yeah, I'll take a look.
Oh, yeah.
If it's not booked, it's not bad. It's just like driving an SUV.
Take pictures of it before she takes it.
No accidents yet.
Okay.
I think that's awesome. The only thing I would say is wear shoes when you do the polar plunge. It really helps. Bring an old pair of sneakers that you can wear.
So this is on as a first reading, but entertain a motion if you're ready to move forward. So is there a motion to approve the MASC State Conference trip for March 4th through the 6th, 2026?
Second.
Okay. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstained, 300. All right, well, good luck on the trip.
Take pictures. Thank you so much.
So it just gives me a chance to,
14 passengers is not booked yet.
well, there you go. Gives Tom a chance to book the trip. But I just want to publicly thank Ms. Vitez and everyone who's involved with Student Council. Student Council has been, it's one of those programs that has been so strong for so long in Marshfield that sometimes I think we don't talk about it enough. Because it's really amazing. It's done so many great things for kids, and it just the kids just keep fueling it. And Mr. does a fabulous job keeping that ball rolling. So thank you and good luck.
Thank you.
Good trip. So we have.
So we can do the bento. That'll be a good time for us.
What do you,
I'm just here to be here.
oh, you're just here for here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bye.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm just here to get called.
Do you plan on staying for the whole meeting?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
If
Thank
you'll have me.
I guess.
We did.
I was gonna say if you were in a rush, I'd put public
Did you do
comment.
public comment?
No, I did.
Oh,
But I'll open the floor to public comment. Anybody from the public want to comment? No? Okay, seeing none. Let's see. You want to just go right in order?
Yeah.
Okay, so,
It doesn't look like there's an MEA rep here.
yeah, no, so we'll go, you want to do budget, Tom?
Sure. This year's report first. It's real quick. That'll be quick. And then presentation. Just three.
Yeah, it works in the area position.
We wanted the old business, budget review.
Yeah, old business.
For FY '26. Yeah, this will be quick. The report in the drive is ending November 30th, so it's month ending November 25. There's not a whole lot of highlights quite yet. The couple things to highlight though is on this report I've now encumbered all salaries. So if you take a look at some of the salary lines, they're balanced out to zero as of June 30th. So salaries are encumbered. If you look down at the present time, we're 94% spent, encumbered, and expended. But that doesn't include a couple items, or a couple of our heavier items, utilities and substitutes. If we spend out those two items, we'd be left with a balance of about 1.8 million, which is under 3%. So it's about 2.95%. And on top of that, there's still a few items there that do have some expenses still remaining that aren't encumbered and are still forthcoming. But just issues-wise, and we're going to talk about this more when we get to talk about FY27. Line 35, student transportation services, is already showing a deficit of $41,000. Primarily special education transportation just continues to skyrocket on an annual basis. And line 39, maintenance services, that's already showing a deficit of about $50,000. A couple items there. We went a little bit higher on our summer staffing. We typically bring in summer custodial help. That account line was $50,000, and it ended up being in the $90,000 range. So we need to control that moving forward. And then repairs. Facility repairs are, you call a vendor to come out to your house, you get a huge bill. And we haven't changed those line items in a long time. So as far as the dollar values there, so that's going to come up in our FY27 report as well. And then lastly, utilities. If we're in a dangerous situation there too. Again, just continuing to spiral out of control, just like everybody else at home. The first set of heating bills for November, December were a little shocking. So we're going to have to keep a really close eye on that as well. But not terrible, but we have very, very thin margins moving forward. So that's where we are for FY26.
I have a question about maintenance.
Sure.
When the building's opened, any building's open outside of school hours for public groups or whatever, is the maintenance cost to have those areas cleaned or to have a maintenance staff there? Are those included in the cost for the groups to come in? Or?
We
Let's fix
all
that
right.
now.
Now it's working. For building rentals, is that where for outside people that come in, if they're, it's dead. I'm loud enough, I think. If we have a custodian on duty, and it's a smaller event, there isn't a custodial charge. If it's a larger event where there needs to be additional time allocated, there's a custodial charge. And then on weekends, there's always a custodial charge.
Is the overtime on maintenance more than it used to be? Is that part of what's happening?
Yes, yes. And we've steadily increased that custodial rate to cover the overtime rates. So, yeah, we're keeping a closer look on that as we move forward.
But with these reports, you do get to see the budget and the way it's playing out, and where the hot spots are, which is important in tight budget times. You know, that you can see that advised as we go through our budget subcommittees. Thank you.
Yeah, the only other item I think I highlighted was our legal services, because we're moving into a bargaining phase, and that probably will not be enough to cover our legal moving forward. So there's going to have to be, we're going to have to look at an adjustment there too as well, probably.
Tom, do you want to roll right into the FY27?
Sure.
Unless there's any other questions?
I can pull it up here. This is the first read for our fiscal 27 budget, and pull it up here on the slideshow. So this is the first read, and just typically start off with this slide. We did highlight this at one of our meetings prior to the holiday break. This is the Marshfield Public School budget from 2005 to 2026. There's a few highlights here. You can see over these years, our percentage increase has increased slightly. There were some lean years in the mid 2010s, but the real highlight on this slide is over this time period, our average percentage increase over these 21 years is 2.39%. So that's an important number to consider. And then the other thing to highlight here is our salary percentage of our budget versus our expense portion of our budget. And we'll get a little bit into detail on this in a moment, but you can see this is the first year where we had a dramatic turn on our salary percentage of our budget versus our expense budget. And we're about 85% right now, salaries for this fiscal year, 15% expenses. It's a pretty dramatic change as it's slowly creeped up. Our salary percentage has creeped up over the years. This is just highlighting our last 9 years, and you can see we were fortunate to initially not have a 4.4% increase for this school year, but it was originally a 3, it moved to around the 3, 4, 5, and then we were fortunate to receive some additional funding right before town meeting to push that budget number to the 60.24 million that it is for this school year. Last 9 years, an average increase of just slightly over 3%. So that's typically what we, typically on an annual basis, we try to work out a budget where we have a 3% increase. As you can see, over these years, we've survived for a number of reasons. And we'll talk about our positions that have not been filled over the last couple of years, and just holding our expenditures over this time period has allowed us to move forward. This 4.4 obviously was necessary because we've been hit with, just like everybody else, like I just mentioned with the fiscal 26 budget, utilities, transportation, just our primary drivers for expenditures moving way beyond that 3%, and that's why we're at 4.4 for this school year. But we managed to to survive through on the 3% here for the last 9 years. Right before break, our interim town administrator, Charlie Sumner, presented at the Board of Selectmen's meeting, the Select Board's meeting, sorry. And just to summarize this real quick, estimated total revenue for the town is estimated to be only going up $1.86 million, while our fixed expenses in the town are going up $4.3 million. That's a differential of $2.46 million. So you look at the net available revenue from FY26, 87.5, FY27 projected of just over 85 million. So a $2.46 million deficit, less revenue going from 26 to 27. So Dr. Sullivan and I are meeting with the town administrator and town accountant tomorrow to get a little further information on where this is headed. There's still there could be some variability here, but it's not a pretty picture. At this select board meeting, there were at the select board meeting, there was discussion of some strategies to try to get through this. There was a mention of what the town administrator, Charlie with Sumner, was really looking at when he started to look into the town figures. There's been a use of free cash to supplement. There's been very aggressive budgeting on the town side. They've dialed that back a little bit. And the one thing he did mention was there was a heavy use of debt, borrowing debt, not excluded debt. We haven't mentioned the Marks and Roof yet, but that's excluded debt. Borrowing for just regular capital budgeting purposes and capital to the tune of $4 million in our budget in the town budget is allocated towards debt, towards debt. So potentially the town could try to exclude that debt, and that would free up $4 million in the budget. There was brief talk of a temporary override adjustment, but without any of that taking place, it's a really, really difficult situation right now at the town level. So we don't know what FY27 is going to bring. This is the town school revenue agreement. We're probably a little bit, this was a FY14 version, where the projected revenues of the town, subtracting out the fixed costs, and then a percentage on the available revenue. And that worked for several years. We've brought it up on occasion, and hoping to hopefully get back to something like this where it's black and white. This year, it's a little bit difficult. So we'll still continue to talk about this. But the key thing is working with the town over, starting tomorrow, and we've been talking all through this process, to get through this and hopefully move forward with a number that we're able to keep moving forward with.
Yeah, just to add to that, I think having an agreement with the town for revenues and fixed costs does create some stability and predictability in the budgeting process. So it is something that we're absolutely looking to do. It's an important thing, I think, as we look at not getting into a situation like this again. So.
Quick question. So, Tom, is the plan to dust off the old MOU and re-sign that?
Yeah, I mean, we do have it. We brought it to a couple meetings. I think we brought it to a meeting with Peter Moore and the former interim town
We brought it to Mr. Maresco his attention.
Yeah.
He was not supportive.
Yeah, the town hasn't had the appetite for it. And I mean, hopefully we're entering a new phase with the town finances, because, you know, we can look back at that. We want to look at this as a whole town, because school department is clearly a part of the town. If you look at the numbers of how the municipal side increased over these years, it's in the 5% plus range. So there hasn't been equitable revenue sharing, and that's something we've continually brought up. We need to get closer to that, because at this point, you're going to see on our side that we have, and as I stated in the FY26 report, there's no room. There's no room. We have very thin margins. So we, all along throughout this process, we've been just asking for the same percentage increase for our expenditures as the municipal side.
How does circuit breaker look? Oh, how was the circuit breaker looking?
I'll talk about that in a minute.
Okay, never mind. I'm getting ahead of you.
So this was also highlighted in the meeting before break, and want to highlight this again. In the last 2 years, the Marshfield Public Schools have not filled almost 20 FTE in positions. You can see it runs the gamut here to the tune of $1.6 million. So we have the Marshfield Public Schools have been reducing. There have been reductions. They're right here. We've done it very systematically and have not filled positions as teachers have retired, as employees have left the district. So this is just in the last 2 years, last school year and this school year. And also over the years, there's a couple, there's 2 elementary teacher positions on this slide, but over the last 15 years, we've reduced elementary classrooms over 20 elementary teachers. So we have been adjusting with our declining enrollment. There's a fallacy out there that we haven't, primarily because if you look at our number of employees, which is a figure that really doesn't equate. We've lost almost 1,000 students, yet we have about the same number of employees, but we have been reducing. The number of employees is a figure that could be a teacher, a science teacher, $100,000, or a specialized educational support professional of $30,000. There's varying degrees. You cannot look straight at our number of employees. But over those years where we've had the declining enrollment, and Mrs. Galaro has done a great job bringing programs back into our district, where we might be servicing 6 to 8 students in our district with 5 or 6 employees, where previously we were sending them out to another private school and spending a lot of money sending them to private school, bringing them back into the district, what's best for students, and spending less money.
Yeah.
Yet, we have 6 more employees. So there's so much around that makes it difficult to explain, but it's black and white, where we have hired employees to save money.
And it should be noted that getting, not reducing these positions is not a trimming of fat exercise. All of these positions have a significant impact on our students, whether it's class sizes or it's the supports that the students need. One of the big factors in our teacher population remaining high is the needs that students have have had over the last few years after COVID, also through special education needs. So anything on here that's a service position really does impact the supports our students receive, and anything on here that's a teacher position does impact class sizes. So this isn't just, we didn't need these teachers. We really did, and they're getting them further and further away from our financial plan, which is to grow Marshfield Public Schools in a way that promotes optimal educational excellence. But these were fiscally responsible moves for us, given the times and the needs.
I apologize. It looks as if the top, there was one more on the top here, and that's the assistant for special education. It looks like it got caught off in the presentation. I apologize for that.
And that's a big
I'll get that fixed. Typically, we put together a financial plan, which sort of shows how we are moving the district forward with additional positions or additional programs. This is last year's plan. We decided not to spend any time on redeveloping this moving forward for this year, because it's right from the get-go, it was very apparent that this wasn't going to occur. There's that director of special education that was taken away, is back in the plan. But so this is on hold for the time being. And then just to get into the numbers, this is a really this is really just a screenshot, a really small snippet of all the numbers that are behind this. Something went wrong something's going, I'm missing pieces here. This isn't good. Nope. You know what, I gotta back out just momentarily. It looks like the top piece on some of those slides got taken, so I'm gonna go right to bear with me for 2 seconds.
You just do a PDF version of it?
Yeah, I'm gonna go to the PDF.
Yeah.
Let's go to PDF is for reference. Wait. And no, maybe not. I apologize. It looks like the top level. I'll go back to the presentation, but what's missing on the top here is our budget number for this year, which is $60,241,296, I believe. But so we start with that for it got really quite up here. But so looking forward to next year, this is the main point, is that our fiscal year 27 contractual salary increases. This is what we are on our books right now with our contracts that are settled. It's just under $1 million, $950,000.
We're on the hook for that.
Yes, that's all our contracts settled. That is our step increases for the units that aren't settled. Just an example, almost half of that is just the step increases on the teacher contract. Our teacher's contract, our tutor contract, and our assistant principal contracts are still open. So that's the other increases in the contracts and our step increases for those 3 units as well. So the teacher's contract, just step increases are about 1.25%. So of the whole contract. So that's something we're on the hook for even before negotiations are concluded. So the second line here is our projected salary increases. So about 1.2 million. This is factored on a 3% increase for those 3 units. Now that's probably our tipping point. This is our level service budget. And we're still negotiating, and I'll talk a little bit further about where we're at as the budget as a whole momentarily. So that's about 1.2. And then the other factors are operational increases and decreases, which are right here. And I'll talk through these real briefly. I'm going to start from the bottom. Utilities, $78,000 increase. That's based upon our fiscal year 25 actuals. So this number is probably not aggressive enough based upon what we're seeing already for this school year. But that's the number we're carrying right now. Our regular transportation contract goes up 3% annually. That's $50,000. Athletics, we're running that $100,000 deficit. It's either going to have to go operationally, or we obviously have an athletics subcommittee meeting at the moment and looking at ways to solve that $100,000 deficit. Special education transportation, I mentioned in our FY26 report, that is continually increasing, carrying $142,000 there. Building maintenance, severely underfunded there, a round number of $100,000. Technology maintenance, again, seriously underfunded, carrying $100,000 there. And then instructional software and curriculum, we're still pulling that together on those numbers, but we're carrying $50,000 there as well. All necessary items to ensure that we don't run a deficit overall in our budget. And then lastly, sped out of district tuition and circuit breaker. That's combined there. Right now, our circuit breaker, I don't have the spreadsheet here, but I can pull that up. Since Mr. Greer asked about it, it might be good to just quickly take a look at that right here. So, as the committee's aware, I mentioned many times that we barely closed out FY25. We carried over $33,000 in circuit breaker to begin fiscal 26. To break down these, I don't want to get too deep in these numbers, but our projected circuit breaker funding for this year, $2.4 million. We currently have about $1 million budgeted in our operating budget, and we have about $738,000 allocated in our large special education grant. That gives us $4.2 million in available funding for 26. Right now, our out-of-district expense is projected to be that number, $4.2 million. That leaves us with $1,000, just less than $2,000. Again, that's that thin margin. These numbers can fluctuate. This number can fluctuate. This is not a good situation whatsoever. If you move forward into 27, it gets a little bit brighter, but I mean, just from a couple scenarios moving forward, basically starting with zero and rolling over the same amount of circuit breaker funding and beefing up our tuition budget slightly with the grant gives us $4.4 million, and our out-of-district expense right now projected for 27 is $3.72 million, but that can change. We have a few students that are aging out, but we also know that there's several students that may be moving out of district as well. So this is, while on paper right now, it gives us an ending balance of 689. That's still a dangerous situation. So in our budget, proposing to get to give us at least $500,000 more to rectify this situation as well. So I just want to highlight that real quick because that's his $500,000 right here. Because it's not a good scenario where we're at right now. So those are the operational side of the equation. So looking back, those three items, what we're on the hook for, salary-wise, what we're projected for our contracts and our operational impact, $3.35 million, which gives us a level service education budget number of $63,597,203. That's the number that we're presenting as our initial school committee budget. We met with the subcommittee last week, Ms. Brady, Ms. Stetson, and that was the number that was decided to bring forward as it's our initial school committee education budget. It's a 5.57% increase over last year, over this school year. And these last two lines, typically, town education budget, it says unknown, I've already discussed that, with a 3% estimate, which is probably not realistic. That still leaves about $1.5 million differential here. So we know we have a lot of work to do. It starts tomorrow. The budget unknowns, town of Marshfield budget, obviously, cost of living adjustments. In our level service budget, that cost of living is 3%. If it were to be negotiated for 2%, that saves roughly $400,000 on that number. So there's variability there. That's completely unknown. Our circuit breaker reimbursement, the state can change that number mid-year. Last year they gave us more, which was a nice thing. That actually helped us save. That actually got us through and allowed us to have that $33,000. Out of district tuition I just mentioned, utilities, special education, transportation, and then lastly salary attrition, savings on people leaving and retirements. We have 3 retirements at this time, which will help us. It's not denoted in our level service budget, but that will help us if we need to pull back a bit. The last thing to highlight is our per pupil spending. The latest data available from the DESE is still FY23. Typically, they would have 24 available by now, but it's not available. And I went back and looked, and some of this data may have changed. Our per pupil spending is $18,324. This is fiscal 23. The state average, $21,885. You can see that differential. And Marshfield ranks 119th out of 149 districts across the state with greater than 2,000 students. So that's pretty striking. And then this is also a snapshot of our neighboring communities. You can see where they rank in the state, and you can see their total expenditures per pupil. And we're right down near the bottom. It's actually not as terrible as it used to be, primarily because due to our declining enrollment. But it's still a striking number when you look across the state, and it's still striking with some of our neighbors.
Yeah, and just to emphasize that, if you think about the amount of per pupil expenditure we have as a town, and we've had as a town over the past many years, and then that chart where it shows our percentage increase of budget, the fact is that Marshfield is a tremendous bargain for what we're giving for education. And I think with all of the talk of our budget situation, I think that can be left unsaid, and it shouldn't. You know, I can say this, and several of us have raised our kids here. I grew up here, and we're really getting a good bang for our money here in Marshfield. And I just feel like that maybe not being said, maybe that's not being said enough, and it should be. So I just wanted to highlight that.
So last slide, Marshall Town Charter requires a vote by the last Monday of January. So at our next school committee next week, we'll ask the committee to vote to approve an initial FY27 school committee education budget of $63,597,203.
Any questions? Yeah, so, and again, as Assistant Superintendent Miller said, we are going to be meeting with the internal town manager tomorrow and the treasurer. And we'll then start building out, based on those numbers, what we need to do. And when it's appropriate, we'll get the school committee involved to advise us on that, which will be soon. But it's a more difficult situation than I can remember in Marshfield in my time here. So it's going to be a challenge, but we'll work it through as a team.
We have a subcommittee Thursday,
We
right?
do.
Yeah, we're meeting as a budget subcommittee Thursday to follow up from our meeting.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
So no questions? All right, we can move on. What's the next thing? Handbook, virtual budget, student handbook.
Yes, and I'll turn that over to Assistant Superintendent Martin.
Okay, so the cover sheet is in the folder. So last summer, there was a Supreme Court ruling that it was a case of parents wanting to opt their student out of LGBTQ inclusive books in a required curriculum. And so that court decision requires us now to add some language in our student handbooks around opting students out. All of the districts across the Commonwealth are putting this language in. The language has been recommended by the attorneys for the MASS organization. So really the wording is pretty consistent across the state. So basically the language you can see is, it cites the regulations, and it says, it does say that we encourage respect for human and civil rights of all individuals, regardless of race, color, sex, gender identity, religion, national origin, or sexual orientation. But in accordance with district guidelines, families may request information from the building principal on available accommodations related to curriculum content. So all of the schools have been notified. All of the school councils approved the handbook edition, that language. Once this language is approved, we can provide information through newsletters about adding that language to the handbooks, because the handbooks are already out there for this year, so it's an addition. We do not need to ask families, like affirmatively ask them if they wish to opt out. You don't have to seek consent. It's really the other way around. Just a couple of notes on this. It's still, so Massachusetts schools are still prohibited from discrimination on the basis of gender identity. So we have an obligation to provide safe and supportive schools for all of our students. This decision really only applies to opt-outs based on religious reasons, and it only applies to the mandated curriculum. So for example, the middle school has book clubs, and one of their choices might be focused on an LGBTQ main character. However, since it's a choice book, then that is not a mandated curriculum option. So that is not an opt-out situation, because there are other choices. This would be only if it is in our curriculum as planned. So it also doesn't mean if students have a discussion on the spot, that doesn't count either, because that was not part of our planned curriculum. You can't stop a discussion from happening or a question from a student. So you really have to, once this gets approved, we will put some processes and procedures in place. I have samples from other districts. Really, we can ask questions around the religious basis for the opt-out. And then we have to just go from there. We don't, from the curriculum coordination and the coordinators, we don't really have any mandated curriculum on specifically LGBTQ. There might be something in our health curriculum, but not, it's more along the inclusion of everybody. It's not necessarily specific to this group of students. So we are required to put the language in the handbook because of the Supreme Court decision. We will have procedures in place. We really, it would come through the principal and through me, and the superintendent would have the ultimate decision. If it is found that a student can opt out of something because of a religious belief, we would have to provide an alternative. So we would have to make sure we have something in place.
And I think as Assistant Superintendent Martin said, it's really a practice we've done anyway. We have provided options for students and families who may have objections. And it's nothing in our curriculum that is mandated for kids to read that really ties into this. So I don't see it as a giant change for us, although it is something that we need to put in our handbooks.
So I understand putting this in, but there's nothing guiding somebody through the process of objecting to it.
That's what we are going to put in place. Once the language is approved, then we will put in guidance, and then there will be a procedure. So there will be a form that a parent has to fill out. It will be submitted most likely to the principal, and we would have to make sure that it is a mandated piece of the curriculum. We would want to probably have a meeting with the family. We would want to make sure that the teacher would have an alternate assignment. But again, it's based on a religious belief is really the foundation for an opt-out. And again, it has to be part of our mandated curriculum.
No, I get that.
So- We do have to have procedures in place.
Yeah,
And- yeah.
so as far as the handbook goes, and I always get this confused with school improvement plans. Which one do we accept and which one do we approve?
So you have to vote on school improvement plans. Student handbooks, the regulation is you don't have to, but we have as a practice had you approve student handbooks.
Right.
No, I'm sorry, program of studies, student handbooks they have to as well. Student handbooks, sorry.
We have to
stand
approve
corrected.
student
We
handbooks.
approve student handbooks and school improvement plans. It's a program of studies that we.
Right, and the reason I ask this is that, like, I understand all of this, but based on all the extra stuff that you need to do, which is gonna be part of the handbook, we need to see that also. That should really be spelled out in this ask right here. So we need to know what the ask is, not, it's this, well, plus all this other stuff. Early, right?
This is a first read. I'm happy to pull that together
Oh,
before.
yeah, just, I don't know how you two feel, but I don't feel comfortable moving on this because it only spells out part of the overall ask.
I mean, this is where I was like confused with like the policies and the procedures, like in my opinion, this seems like a policy, and then the procedure part is gonna come next, and we would approve that when it's in the, yeah, right.
That's how I was looking at it as well. It's not
That's-
necessarily a policy, but it is a legal requirement.
In my mind, like, this has to happen first before we then change. Yeah.
So the handbook is gonna be brought back to us. See, I thought that sort of last would be in this document here, and we just approve that as an
You would approve this as like an addendum.
Right.
to the handbook.
In which case we need that other piece, right? Or were you gonna bring that back in the later?
It would not, I don't think we would put the actual procedures in the handbook, because what this states is that families may request information from the building principal. So that's really their first stop, and then the building principal would be able to take them through the steps.
But we want to create a formalized process for
We
it.
want
Yeah,
to
we
create a
want a formalized
process, but I don't
process.
think the process would be in the handbook. It would be
Okay.
contact your building principal. This is just what's going on.
Yeah, so, you know, getting away from what it says here, but, so is, the school principal is gonna field phone calls? Like, what's the anticipated volume of calls to opt out?
Again, we don't have specific
Texts.
text or
I understand that, but it
units
says
in
to inquire, so who's fielding all these inquiries?
The building principal would, and then.
No, I get that, but, you know, we're gonna have X number of students times a parent each gonna be calling. Or do we expect one or two over the course of the year?
I don't expect it will be a lot, and when we would get a request or a question, we have our grades 6 to 12 curriculum on the website, so parents can see that. We are building the elementary curriculum site right now, so they will be able to see that. So everything that we are doing, parents already have access to, so if they see something in the curriculum documents or in the materials that we provide, that would probably spur their question. Like, if we get a question about, so for instance, we did get a question from a parent recently about what is taught in the elementary ELA curriculum, right? So we gave that parent the website, we gave that parent the scope and sequence, we gave that parent the units, all of that, so that they could see it.
Yeah, we gotta be
So-
really transparent with what
Oh,
we're.
no, I get that. What I'm asking is that my concern is that you get, you know, 30, what do we have for student enrollment? 3,575 phone calls, but now somebody has to step away from that day job to run all of this.
Do we have a choice? Is it,
I'm
do we
sorry,
have a choice whether or not we add this?
Whether we what?
no, not really.
What did you say, Glenn? I'm
Do we
sorry.
have a choice
Choice about what? About
about
this?
adding this?
I'm not pushing back on this. No, it's just like, once you put this out there, now you're saying contact the school principal, right? So
The big thing is,
3,575 students, so we're gonna get 3,575 phone calls, which is now gonna take weeks out of somebody's day job to answer all those.
I
Or
don't
should we-
foresee that, but we also, from all of the recommendations from the attorneys, we want it to go through the building principal and not the classroom teacher.
What I'm asking is, should we put more information in there? Other than just that statement?
It hasn't been recommended
Okay.
by attorneys to put more information. This is what was recommended. Again, we could tweak that last sentence.
No, I'm okay. I'm asking the question. I don't know
Yeah.
the answer. And
I don't foresee that happening.
that's all I was asking.
Yeah, that's my feeling on it.
So we'll get a couple dozen calls over the course of the year. That's easy to deal with.
There's, like, when we searched our curriculum, there really is nothing that stands as a mandated text that would fit this category.
No, I understand that.
Right, so but I think that would control the volume of calls, because there's nothing, I mean, if we had some texts that we would say, yeah, these stand out like this,
Yeah.
then I think your query would be, I'd be more saying, yeah, I think, but we don't really have that.
It's fine. It was just a question.
It was a good question.
If you're both ready to move on this, then I'll entertain a motion. Is there a motion to approve the updates of the student handbook language?
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed, abstained, 300?
Did you want to see the procedures once they're?
No, I just want to make sure we're dotting the i's and crossing the t's. Like, I understand there's going to be procedures, I'm just asking questions.
I think it's a good
No, I
idea
just-
for the committee to look at this.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to see it from a curiosity standpoint.
I think we want to be very transparent with that and let the public know exactly what our procedures are. Yeah. So I think we should bring it forward.
All right, so that's good. Amendments to Martinson Roof projects.
Yes.
Yes, so, first off, one
Yes.
thing.
Well, I join you in thanking everyone who came out to vote for the Martinson Roof debt exclusion. I know it's not an easy thing to do. What I'm really thanking folks for is the support of having a new roof, because we need one, and the kids are, and the people who are in Martinson, the town's gonna realize that because of the vote. So thank you for that.
It was so great news on Saturday. Throughout this process, we've been moving forward with the project, with the $1 million that was originally approved for the design and project management. So the two contracts have already been approved for the general contracts for the OPM and our design services. However, when we were talking to Attorney Galvin, Town Council, he recommended that the committee approve the amendments as well. And in the drive are amendments 1 and 2, both for the owner's project manager, Accenture, and the architectural design services, KBA. So those are there for vote to approve. Just a little recap of where we are in the project. We met this morning, virtually really quickly to assure that the bid is going out on January 1st. So the bid we posted for January 1st. And there is a building walkthrough for all contractors and roofers that are interested. I believe it is January 20. January 20th.
Makes sense.
27th, January 27th. So we're moving along on that project. So this is simply a vote to approve those 2 amendments. There will be one more set of amendments for this contract through closeout. Those are being developed at the moment, and then there'll be one final not final contract, but once the general contractor is on board, there'll be a contract for that will also be approved by the committee.
So are there any questions on the amendments?
My only question is, construction is hopefully still this summer?
Yes,
Correct?
yes. And no snow days yet.
Oh, Tom.
Because it's always helpful every day.
A lot of kids just got happy, right?
The plan is to be substantially complete by September 1. So
Still running.
there may be a few other things going on, but similar to the Furnace Brook project.
But we having been through, we recognize the importance of
Yeah.
the timeline. Yes, absolutely. Summer's important.
Well, it's not in the morning when they start construction.
Yeah.
That's very close to my bedroom.
At the meeting this morning,
They start at 9.
at the meeting this morning, it's 7 a.m. till dusk. That's the official
Would you like to hold
hours.
off a little longer?
For the most part, it'll be 7 to 7:30 to 3:30. So,
Right before you walk your dog.
Yes. Well, 3:30 is not dusk in the summer.
yeah, that's.
Do we have to approve all these separately, or can we approve them
I think we can do it as one. Just vote to approve amendments 1 and 2 for both the owner's project manager and architectural design services contracts.
All right. No, that's fine, no, I'm okay with
Because there's
that.
no MSBA language in this one.
No,
Yeah, that, my concern was substantial completion. We can talk about that offline, but I haven't been including any in the
no, I,
front
once,
stuff.
yeah, once we get the contractor on board,
Yeah, I'm just concerned with definition of substantial completion. All right, all those in favor? Aye, opposed, abstained, 300.
thank you.
That covers both, right?
Yes.
No, that's 1, 2. All right, let's see. Get back to where I was. Kenny Vincent.
Yeah. So this is just a quick vote to approve. The district received two donations for our McKinney-Vento program. $2,500 from the Marshfield Real Estate Co-op. They're the ones that did the tremendous tree presentation in this room. And we also received a $100 donation from the Brown family. So just a simple vote to approve by the committee.
Thank you for those
Any
donations.
questions?
I think that's one of the
Great. So we have a quick two. I didn't hear who, okay, yeah. All right, all those in favor? Opposed, abstained, 300. What was on you?
The goals, yes, I will go rather rapidly, because I had met earlier with the subcommittee, the superintendent evaluation subcommittee, who approved these goals, but I wanted to bring it forward, and it's been some time kind of getting to be able to do this, for the committee to approve it formally, because that's something that you need to do. Just a reminder, I'll go very rapidly here, and you can certainly stop me at any point. There are the 5 cycles of the superintendent's evaluation. Cycle 1 is a self-assessment, and if you look at the link here, you'll see my entry plan, which really is my self-assessment. From the self-assessment and the prior year evaluation and rating and other relevant evidence, I identify at least 2 goals to propose to the school committee. One related to improving his or her own professional practice, and one related to improving student learning. And if you actually go into that link, I'm sure you have, you can see, I put in red the actual goals that came from the self-assessment. Step 2 is analysis, goal setting, and plan development. And this is really what I'm doing now, but again, we're a little off time because I had done this some time ago with the subcommittee. And the objective is of achieving mutual agreement, adopting one professional practice and one student learning goal. In addition, so just so you know, I need one professional practice goal, one student learning goal, and then I can have 2 to 4 district improvement goals, all based on data. Once adopted, the professional practice, student learning, and district improvement goals with their key strategies and benchmarks of progress become my annual plan, and the plan serves as a basis for having my assessment, my performance assessed. Cycle 3 is when I implement, which I've been doing, implementing and collecting evidence regarding that plan. And then there's a mid-cycle goal review and an end of cycle and summative evaluation report, similar to what I did last year, where I present you with a report regarding my progress on my stated goals and also on the standards that govern my evaluation from the state. And there they are, really. Standard 1 is instructional leadership, Standard 2, management and operations, Standard 3, family and community engagement, and Standard 4, professional culture. Similar to the teacher evaluation, really. When I created the goals, you can just see some of the data that I ended up using in terms of creating it. But a lot of it was in my entry plan because I had done so much analysis coming into the district last year. So the first goal, and you can see this is a self-assessment based goal, and it's the second year of the goal. I have to be very mindful of our strategic plan We're on year 3 of a 5-year strategic plan. So as you see in this document, my goals reflect one of the 4 spokes of our strategic plan wheel, at least one of them. And this one, pillars, I guess we call it. This one is a professional practice goal that deals with equity, belonging, wellness, and community engagement and communication. And this is the belonging team. This year, one of the major things we're doing as an outreach of that is we're under the direction of Assistant Superintendent Martin and a very comprehensive team. We're choosing a social emotional learning platform for the district, and that's well underway, which will be brought back to the belonging team and other places for kind of a look at what our priorities are and what the actual programs that we're going to field test are. So that's a big one. And you can see, I'm not going to go over all the strategies, but as you saw, as you look through this, I have key strategies that connect with it. And there's some other things like expanding the Mosaic event, creating a long-term plan for belonging, and then we've already done some of this work, establishing building-based belonging teams, for instance, and really moving next year into more of a conversation around what culturally responsive practices are in the district and what they look like in practice. Next goal, I'll just go through them all if you have any questions, unless you want to stop me at these goals, so you can stop. Just keep going? Yeah. The next goal, this is also a self-assessment based goal, and this is a data goal. This comes out of my assessment. And what I'm really doing is working with various people in the district, looking at data and setting a data plan. I believe next meeting, Dr. Martin is going to lead a presentation regarding data, not just our MCAS data, but some of our other data sources, iReady, for instance, Dibbles. And we are in the process of making everything more systematic from a district level and from a building level. And the way we approach data as teams and the way we look at data in terms of our own assessments and judge how our students are doing based on that data. And the ability to make adjustments regarding that is essential to this goal. So you can see some of the key strategies and some of our platforms that we're exploring. Open Architects, which gives a very global view of data. Forefront, which is used in the elementary school, and Mastery Connect, which we're really looking at our high school and middle school, correct? That's right? Mm-hmm. From Mastery Connect. Eventually middle school. But this year at high school. And you can see the analysis and the way we're approaching data. My goal is to work with others to make it as systematic as possible. And there's a lot of people leading that charge. Dr. Martin being one of them. And there's the benchmarks to go with that. Not going to read them, get them late, but you can see them. Second year of this goal, that's a new goal, a data goal for me. Second year of this goal is really about student voice, and we did quite a lot on that last year. Our learning walks will continue. We're in the process of trying to make our learning walks more building-based and really sort of handing off some of that to the buildings. Last year, we really came at it from a district leadership perspective, and midway through the year, started infusing teachers. And I'm happy to say it's been, I think, very well accepted as a practice. It wasn't a new practice for Marshfield, but it seems to be gaining more traction now. And I think teachers are seeing it as a way for them to view best practice in their classrooms and in their colleagues' classrooms, and set goals for their building with their building principal to move education forward and instruction forward. So that's been an exciting thing. And also working with my student advisory team, I met with them today. All those benchmarks are in here as well. Finish that one. And then goal 4, this is a district improvement goal. It's about budget and capital plan and about all of our negotiations that have to happen this year. You know, we're in the midst of our teacher negotiations, really getting going with that. As Assistant Superintendent Miller showed, there's a lot of work to do in our budget. And we have the tutor unit and the assistant principal unit also to do this year. So because I'm spending so much time on that, it seemed, and it's important, it seemed appropriate for me to make it one of my goals. And you can see the key strategies that I've set for it, along with the subcommittee and the benchmarks. So that was pretty quick. I could certainly go back and dive deeper, but I had done that with the subcommittee, which was Ms. Stetson and Ms. Brady. Any questions on my goals? I guess I do need a formal approval on those goals from the committee.
Yes, and I think we
Yeah, you want to move forward or table? Move forward? Do I have a motion to accept and approve? Second. All those in favor? Opposed, abstained, 300. We'll go through the minutes quickly, just get those out of the way. So I know, Kendra, you weren't here on November 4th, but you can approve, or I can table those until the next meeting? Okay. Those are, I couldn't hear you.
Oh, so moved.
Okay. All those in favor? Opposed, abstained, 300 for November 4th. November 18th. Just had a question on these, we talked about feeder programs at the first program. See
Feeder programs for
wrestling.
for wrestling rugby. Yeah, I had some discussions today, actually, with the building chair.
Okay. Nice.
So moved.
All right, all those in favor? Opposed, abstained, 300. Brings us up to, next one is December 2nd.
So moved.
All right, all those in favor? Opposed, abstained, 300.
you.
So what we got left here, just information. Dr. Sullivan?
Yes, and I wanted to just very quickly highlight what Kylie had talked about in the DACA program, just a few slides. I think you might get a kick out of seeing some of the images here. That's not it. I gotta read there. Got it. Here you go. So, just once again, what Kylie highlighted was that our DECA students competed in a regional competition at Quincy Marriott. And our DECA program is second to none. It's been an award-winning program for years, similar to Student Council. It's one of those programs that sometimes we forget how great it is because they just consistently perform at such a high level. But we had some of the highlights. We had 151 Marshfield High School students competed in various categories, ranging from business plan writing, papers and presentations, to case studies in the areas of hospitality and tourism, marketing, finance, and more. 59 students earned recognition as category winners, top 5 overall, advancing to the State DECA Conference in Boston this March. An additional 22 students earned spots as finalists, top 8 overall in their categories. Finn Foley was also recognized as having the highest marketing test score of all the students in the content area of the whole conference. Our medal count was, we brought home 35 medals for high scores in role plays, exams, and overall performance. And I won't go through the breakdown, but there are many students who were honored, and this is just, the cherry at the top of the ice cream area, and these are the happy students. And not only happy students, but students that have gained a lot of confidence in their ability to move forward and pursue careers in business. So this is wonderful. This is what it's all about. They had to bring it home to Howard. Very proud kids. And we should be very proud of that. There's a lot of proud parents. And that's it. That's my highlight for today. I wanted to make sure you saw that because I thought that, sometimes a picture tells a million words, right? And great program. Thank you to all the teachers who sponsored that, and Ms. Wheeler, Dr. Michello, and everyone who went along on that trip. It was great.
Oh, excellent.
Did you chaperone?
No,
it?
no,
Oh.
there were a lot of volunteers.
Yes, and all, yes, thank you. Certainly want to thank the volunteers and chaperones. That's a lot for them. That's a lot. But the kids came through, and congratulations, students.
Yeah, we do have a great DECA program,
Yeah.
even at, the involvement at the state level.
It is.
And
Yep.
other national things.
It's fantastic, yeah. I can't think that I can put it up against any other program in the state, for sure.
Mr. Miller?
I've spoken enough.
Is he going to take a knee? Dr. Martin?
Just two things. Our adult ESL class starts next week. Two of our staff members, Alyssa Rogers and Talita Namba, are running that. There are 35 parents registered as of yesterday. It is funded by our Title III grant, which is really specifically for ELE programming resources, and there is a piece in the grant that is specific to family outreach and family support. So that starts next week. And then, as Dr. Sullivan mentioned, we had our 4th meeting of our SEL steering team yesterday. We set our vision, priorities, parameters, and we created a rubric for looking at programs. We looked at 24 so far. We are in the process of narrowing it down to 4 or 5 to bring in vendors and publishers. There are some that are definitely rising to the top, so we're in the process of that. And then next steps is to narrow that down to a couple for field testing and then gathering data. So hopefully we'll have a decision by the end of April or May.
Excellent. Mrs. Clara?
I just have a very quick announcement. So CPAC elections were held during our December 11th meeting, and the results of the election are as follows. So Amy Smith, FBMS and MHS parent, was re-elected as the chair. Julie Downey, an SRS parent, was elected as the vice chair, and Lillian White, an MES parent, was elected as the secretary. So we had our first board meeting earlier this evening, and it was a complete success. I look forward to working with this new CPAC leadership team. There are lots of ideas for how we can continue to build relationships and find new and innovative ways to engage families and support students. So thank all of the people who were our previous board members. They're amazing. Jade, Quinn, Laura Gallen, and this new group is going to be just Jade, thank you for working to help for smooth transition. So it was really nice. So
It's amazing. It's good. I mean, we have an awesome CPAC.
Incredible CPAC, yeah.
I have people at work that ask me, I would refer them to their hometown CPAC, and then I said, well, reach out to the Marshfield.
yes.
No, it's a great model, it really is.
Yeah, they have
Positive
collaboration,
collaboration.
so it's great.
Now, is there any talk about bringing back Wonder Fair?
There is, not for this year, but there is some talk. We did that survey, CPAC survey, so we looked at some of those results during the board meeting today, and that is one of them. Our diversity fair is one of the things that really universally talks to people really interested in that, so we'll look for that.
Oh, great. Yeah, that was great. I think a lot of the members used to attend that. It was just amazing. But when you have all these different things that you can, then other people can relate to because you provide them with that experience.
Yeah, and we have staff members who are interested in doing that as well. So
Oh, great.
that'll be a goal for next year.
Excellent. Does anybody have anything? No, we're good. Entertain a motion to adjourn. Very good. Mrs. Pazurski?
Mrs. Darden? Yes. Mrs. Stetson? Yes. Mr. Rear?
Yes.
Okay. All right, everyone.
Next meeting will be next week.